Welcome to Thursday's The Week That Was and Tape Deck Tales, a weekly recap where we look back at what you could have seen on Facebook if you follow Tape Deck Tales. Thursday is Movie News Network, and Movie News Network is a fictional look at what's going on in a movie if it were real, and if Local 7 News in Michigan were telling a local story of a band camp. Tall Oaks Band Camp Summer Concert leads to romantic moment. In the comments and the descriptions, maybe you can remember what movie this is from. On Friday, I asked a question. As football season's coming close, I wanted to know, Gen X, did you play high school football in the 90s? If so, tell us your school and mascot in the comments. This is a fictionalized picture of myself and three teammates walking onto the field in Saranac Lake. And of course, it's AI, so you notice the kids are wearing their helmets and carrying helmets, except for number 31 who has a bag. Something I didn't pay close enough attention to when I designed the image, but the overall idea is still trying to find out just did you play high school football in the 90s and how awesome was it? On Saturday, we get a little bit of a blurry picture here. It's a picture saved from the internet from a YouTube thumbnail, and we asked the question for Saturday Morning Memories as we're firing up the TV and heading back to the 1986 and 87 Saturday morning season, thanks to a classic NBC cartoon bumper uploaded on YouTube by Retrostatic. We're getting another reminder of just how stacked the Saturday mornings were for NBC 86-87. This highlight package shows the TV bumpers on NBC for Punky Brewster, Alvin and the Chipmunks, Kid Video, Mr. T, and Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Remember, back then there was no streaming. There was no picking whatever episode you wanted to watch. You grabbed your bowl of cereal, you planted yourself in front of the television, and you watched whatever the network had waiting for you. Who remembers this NBC lineup? Which ones of you were making sure you didn't miss it? And here's the bigger question. Which network had the best Saturday morning cartoons when you were growing up? Was it NBC? Was it ABC or was it CBS? Let us know in the comments. On Sunday, it's Comic Strip Sunday, and I wanted to, I guess I wanted to depress us a little bit because technology may have improved our lives, but the simple places we finally remember are gone. I can remember going to Ames a lot and picking out a Star Wars figure from the bin. I remember Howard Johnson's in Lake Placid where I grew up. We didn't have a Blockbuster local until I got to college, but the other video stores like Broadway Video and Saranac Lake are also gone. Radio Shack, one of my best friends worked at Radio Shack. Service merchandise, what was awesome about service merchandise is you'd buy a Nintendo or something and then you could watch it come out on the little thing as it rolled out to you with your purchase. That was Sunday's comic strip for this week. On Monday, we asked if you remembered in late August of 1991 the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Where were you when you heard the news? Do you remember watching it on TV? Do you remember most about that day? Now, it being summertime and me being 12 years old, I did not watch it on TV. I would hear about it in school in the following months, especially from some of our more politically charged teachers. A new logo was developed on Tuesday, and this goes along with me having a booth at the Potsdam Gamers Festival in September, as we're going to have stickers and maybe t-shirts, depending on if I can find the right price. Also, I hope to do some content for Tape Deck Tales at that event. And then also Tuesday, I asked which one doesn't belong. We're going back again in the beginning of football season, back to the 1986 season, and we're asking a question, which of these 5 teams did not make the playoffs in 86? And if you're using today's standards, you might be surprised at the answer, because in 1986, the NFL was vastly different from the way it is today, so you might want to go ahead and just take a look at some YouTube footage of some of these teams and see just how great they were, especially in 1986. Looking at these franchises through a modern lens, you wouldn't realize which one doesn't belong. In the comments, let us know. And then last night we finished it off. Superheroes are a big popular feature in today's world, but back in the time of Gen X, we didn't have the Marvel Universe or the DC movies. We had sporadic cartoons or TV shows and maybe one big movie series, but forget the massive superhero movie universes of the 2000s and beyond, starting with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man's. Back then, we had less opportunity to watch what we wanted. We had, if you were a child in the 60s, you had Batman, the wonderfully campy 1966 series that Gen X watched endlessly in reruns. Pow, bam, zap. Or what about in the late 70s and early 80s, The Incredible Hulk, where the main character's name was changed to David Banner, and when he got angry, you wouldn't like it when he got angry. There was Wonder Woman in the 70s, Linda Carter spinning her way into superhero history throughout that decade. Superman movies, Christopher Reeve hitting the big screen and making us believe a man could fly. And then there were the Saturday morning cartoons from Super Friends, Spider-Man, Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Superman, Batman, X-Men, and so many others that kept us planted in front of the television with a bowl of cereal. Some were serious, some were cheesy, some had special effects that quite haven't aged well. We didn't care. They were our superheroes. So the debate question is, which one was your favorite? And that was the week that was on Tape Deck Tales. Stay tuned for more. Make sure you follow on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube. And make sure you comment your answers down below.